I'm in the military.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna watch one more video and then I'm gonna go to bed. Unless we talk about a really interesting topic.
I was in the military.
I'm in the military.
I was 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 in the military.
Okay. I'm gonna save us 11 minutes and 17 seconds. The guy in the bottom right was not in the military, okay? This guy was not in the military. You know how I know? His hands by his sides, his fists are closed. I want everyone to know, when I was in the army, I've never watched this. When I was in the army, you always put your hands flat to your side. Like, everyone knows that. Also, your pants are way too blue.
I'm Trevor. I'm a Marine Corps vet and got out as a Lance Corporal.
Okay. Toria has a good point. I just like don't think that he's in any army things, but I do think that there might be like a sleeper person who's like in the Navy or the Air Force.
I'm Dane, I'm 26, and I got out as a HM3. I was in the Navy for 7 years.
I don't know what a HM3 is. I feel like a HM1 in Pokemon is cut. I feel like this guy kind of knows what he's doing. It worries me because his hands are also closed.
Just looking at people's position of attention, their feet at 45-degree angle and everything.
Wait. 45-degree angle feet, everyone. Am I the only one that thinks... Okay, I'm sorry if this is like army slander. I feel like his positioning isn't correct. He's so off balance.
I'm Trevor. I'm a Marine Corps vet and got out as a Lance Corporal.
But maybe I'm an asshole. He has a dog tag. Do you see this? That's kind of try hard, no? Do you think he's the only one wearing his dog tag? Night Kasi. Do you think I think if I served in the army, I would never take my dog tag off though. I would shower with it and sleep with it.
I'm Dane, I'm 26.
Notice this guy, not a dog tag because he's not insecure and he knows he doesn't need to wear it.
And I got out as a HM3.
Oh, wait, he's a Navy veteran. So it's like I think it's any US like fighting thing.
Navy for 7 years.
I was just looking at people's position of attention, their feet at 45-degree angle and everything.
I'm Yvette. You do not need to know how old I am, but I did 8 years in the Army.
My name's Elliot, and I served in the U.S. Marine Corps.
My name's Max, and I'm an Army vet.
Max really stuck out.
That guy didn't have a lot of oomph. That guy didn't seem very confident he was in the army.
He was kind of dragging his feet and everything. A lot of military guys like don't drag their feet when they walk.
I'm Brandon, active duty.
I would be most shocked. Space Force? This guy fights aliens? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, like he just protects space bases? Or like, I don't know, man. I saw a show called Space Force and it had the main guy from The Office. Like, what are you fighting? Who the fuck are we fighting in space?
Duty, United States Space Force.
Oh, sick.
Hold on. What is the Space Force? The Space Force consolidates satellite acquisition, budget, and workforce from across more than 60 different organizations into unit... Okay. I'm gonna be real. This looks like propaganda, but whatever. Okay, Space Force is real.
I'm Susie. I'm in the Army Reserves, and I'm a sergeant.
Her name is not Susie, it's Suzanne.
Space.
Yeah.
Space.
I've never even heard of that.
Brand new.
Were you in the Air Force and then they were like
Yeah,
Space Force?
So I was in
okay.
training. I was doing ROTC to be
To be fair, the only reason I think that this guy is in the army is because he's hella fit and his posture is super good, so he doesn't play video games.
in the Air Force.
Okay.
And then 2019 is when they created the Space Force.
Yeah.
You're in the Space Force, like what?
So I already saw that it was going to bring attention to me being in the Space Force. We don't know about it, so he's probably using that as his cover so he can make up whatever story that he wants.
Are you stationed here or were you stationed in
Los Angeles
Colorado?
Space Force base. Yeah.
Oh, that's
But we have a base in Colorado too.
Okay.
Okay, chat. Listen. Do we believe this? I just Googled it and Space Force is a real thing. Do you think he's in the Space Force? Okay, I have to just... If I have to vote right now, I think out of this, person 1 and person 5 are like the most sus.
Yeah, you guys are unicorns. Like, you're literally the only one I've ever met. Yeah. No offense to anyone in the Space Force, but no one knows anything about them.
But like your dog tags outside of your shirt not bothering you, like that bothers me. First person I was suspicious of was Trevor.
I never like wear these things. They just like wanted me to kind of wear something marine-ish for the video. So
Oh, God.
yeah.
All right.
People who were in the military, you never.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not buying that. No one else is like trying to like be well, to be fair, she's wearing a camo jacket. I was surprised I was even able to see her.
A dog tag that's like cringy because you wear dog tags in like boot camp.
Who goes to the VA?
I haven't yet.
You
Like,
haven't yet?
I've gotten
Okay.
my QTC done and like done my appointments, but I'm still waiting on the rating.
Chat. This guy is sausage. QTC done? I don't know what that means. Is this guy sweating? Is this a sweat stain or is this a shadow?
Okay. Which VA, what facility do you go to?
West LA.
Loma Linda.
Okay.
Okay, something that's okay, this is also throwing me off. She's wearing a camouflage jacket. He's wearing a Marines like long sleeve sweater.
Oh, I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Long Beach.
Okay.
I think it's giga cringe though if you wear a Marine sweater and you don't go there. That's like me wearing like a Stanford jacket, but I didn't go to Stanford. Like, is he sweating because he's nervous, or is he sweating because being a man is hard?
Why don't you go?
Right.
Are you still in?
No, I'm a veteran.
Where'd you go to boot camp?
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Or are you stationed?
Oh, Camp Zama, Japan. That was my first and only duty station.
Where
Yeah.
is that in Japan?
It's like an hour away from Tokyo. It's near Atsugi base, which is a Navy base, like an Air Force base, and then Camp Zama is like right next to it. Yeah.
And what was your MOS?
MLS is 68 Sierra, preventative medicine specialist.
Okay, that guy seemed a little bit nervous there, but I'll give him benefit of the doubt. It is harder to answer questions like when you're being interrogated and you're on like kind of like you're being recorded, like you're on live TV-ish. I think the first guy's like so sus though.
Every time I wear that.
Trevor? Chat, are any of you guys named Trevor in chat? Do you guys think Trevor is gonna defend us from Godzilla? Like, I'm not buying it. He's my first vote. I think Trevor is my first vote. And you know what? If he's part of the army, I apologize.
Them, like I am always wanting to just tuck them because they're not like supposed to be worn out.
When he stepped up and introduced himself.
Okay, to be fair, Max is my second vote easily.
He just said Army veteran. He didn't say anything about like his rank or anything like that.
Didn't know a damn
Chat, what rank am I? I want to be an Army Sergeant Military Warlord.
thing about the Department of Veterans Affairs.
I have never met anybody from the Space Force.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah. All good, all good. I believe him. I can't believe I just got voted out. Honestly, like, just because like I didn't get VA, that's the only reason why they kind of kicked me out, which is kind of like, I wouldn't say dumb, but like it kind of sucks.
You're on Space Force like now. You're current now, but you have a beard. Like, what is that all about?
No
Shaving
shit.
profile.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
I'm still active duty, so I
This shaving
I'm
profile
still
though.
shaving. It's 85, 36, 20.
Wait, if you're in the Army, you can't shave? I would also like, okay, if I'm going on a video and I know I have to fake being an Army person, like I'm going to do hella research. I'm just going to say like random letters and shit. Like I'm going to watch so many documentaries. I'm just going to say like A769, like private operator, blah, blah, military base. And I got stationed here and I got moved here, blah, blah, blah.
2903.
I
If you
know
wanna
what the
look it up.
reg is.
Yeah.
I'm just
telling you, I'll bring
I
it
got
up.
the manuals on us.
Check it through. My command's been on me about that. You got a beard? In all of my years, I wasn't able to get a shaving profile. I'm like, I don't know.
This beard is the evidence that Space Force isn't a thing. So I kind of wanted him to.
To be fair, I was able to like Google what Space Force was. I thought Space Force was like a joke. Or I thought Space Force meant like you're a US Army person and you defend bases that like shoot rockets into space.
To talk more about it.
Wait, you're in Austin?
I'm Radiant.
Los Angeles,
Yeah,
Los
okay.
Angeles Space
I
Force.
think you could be an intel department while in the military, so people like Trevor probably
You're a
fit there
sergeant?
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my uncle was actually like in the army, but he was like a Air Force like operative. Like he did like radio calls with like the army stuff, but he was in the army.
When did you
But
get
he didn't like
promoted to
shoot
sergeant?
guns
I
and
got
stuff.
promoted back in November of last year.
You look really young to be a sergeant.
I'm 25.
Wow.
I was like, when he asked me, you know, like, how old am I? Like, because I look young. That's when I was like, oh, look, I need to start answering questions and stuff.
You're National Guard or Reserve?
Or reserves.
What do you do in the reserves?
So I'm in 88 November. I'm a transportation management coordinator. So basically, my unit, we're a small detachment. And so what we do is we go out to like the seaports and basically like there's vessels with.
Okay, sorry. This is me being like psychological here, but I also noticed like a lot of my friends growing up, they have trouble like holding eye contact with me. But a lot of times when people are thinking and lying, they like look up and to the left. She's like kind of doing that a lot, which is like, I mean, she sounds like she knows what she's talking about, but she could have done research like I would have done. But you kind of have to like be really like, if I'm trying to like defend myself in Among Us, for example, I'm like really holding eye contact.
Military equipment. We basically like offload them
Like I didn't see the guy die. I was doing lights.
or upload them and then kind of like send them where they need to be.
For the Marines, what unit were you guys in?
3-5 and Weapons and Field Training Battalion, Edson Range.
Yeah. I was
What company were you with?
H&S with 2-4 and then Bravo with 1-5.
Okay, I knew some guys in Joker 2-4.
This girl,
Okay, yeah.
the
Joker,
third,
yeah.
this girl has like the most judgmental look on her face ever. I feel like she's super in the army. One thing, so my stereotype, this is just a stereotype, okay? I know stereotypes like aren't true. My stereotype of the army is, and I think I would be this way as well. If I'm in the army and there's like a fraud, there's someone I think is like a fraud, I'm pretty like prideful. Cause like in the army, I'm probably going through like hell, right? Like I'm not getting treated well. I'm getting like yelled at. Food sucks. Sleeping conditions suck. I don't have like my life. I'm like not in control of my life at all. I'm being told what to do. And I think my ego would be, this is also me being like a straight man. Okay. I'm keeping that in consideration. I would kind of have like an ego to the point where if someone was trying to say, like, oh, I'm in the military, I'd be like, okay, like you really got to prove it to me that you're like one of us.
I see.
What's this? Right? I
Yeah.
see, like,
I see a lot of synergy going on
Right,
over here.
right.
Like, oh, you're in the army? Name 5 tanks. Chat, name 5 tanks if you're in the army, huh? That's what I thought.
I don't know
Or
about
jets.
no
Name 5
Marines. I don't
jets.
know if you guys are
5
tracking.
planes.
Quiet. There's the Marine.
I feel like everyone in the army could name 5 planes.
stuff
I
over
feel like
here.
with that,
And you're super quiet, right?
to have the big Marine guy with the shirt and everything. So I was like, it would be too obvious.
This guy does look kind of like nervous. It's like a little off.
No.
Where did you serve?
I was in first, and then I went to 8th and 9. I was Yankee White, and then I was in 0311 with 1-5.
With 1-5?
Mhm.
What company?
Bravo, and then H&S. I went to Ramadi in 05.
Oh, yeah, same unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other person that stood out to me was Dane. He said he was in the Navy, but I noticed that the logo on his shirt was actually a Marine Corps unit.
What's the mission in the Marine Corps Rifle Squad?
To close with the enemy, to close with and destroy the enemy.
Locate, close with, and destroy the enemy by fire
fire
and maneuver,
maneuver,
repel enemy
police
assault by
assault,
fire and close combat. Yep.
I didn't
Yeah.
memorize that.
Yeah, he's a
study.
Right.
I'd like to keep something in mind, guys. I do think that I stereotyped the first guy, and I thought he was not part of the army because of how he stood. I want to remind you guys, he was the one that asked the question, and so like that could be like if I did research on an army thing, I would be the one that asks the question because I'm picking what we have to memorize. Because then I would just counter and be like, okay, what is this? Cause like ain't no fucking way I know any quotes in the army.
For sure. I had that hazed into me by my seniors, so you know,
Yeah?
like,
Yeah.
I learned it pretty quick.
And when did you ETS?
2007.
Yeah.
It's ETA, yeah, ETA, but. Or,
EAS.
Well,
yeah,
Army,
that's
it's
it.
ETS.
Oh, is
yeah,
it
it's
different,
for
them?
every branch.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. For,
Oh, really?
Is that
For
estimated
EAS
time
for
of
the Marine Corps,
arrival?
ETS for the Army.
ETS for the Army, yeah.
expiration of term of service.
A vet was kind of next in line to be voted off. Maybe it was just because it had been a while and she had forgotten like some little aspects of the military.
So why'd you guys join?
College, I wasn't really that passionate about many career fields or anything like that. But one thing
Do you think like the Space Force, you have to be like pretty like educationally like smart in school? Like my stereotype is like if you're in the Air Force, you kind of have to like be pretty good in school. So like one of my best friends is in the Air Force and he's like pretty smart. He's like I feel like you kind of have to be like pretty smart to fly a plane. I feel like flying a plane isn't like super easy, but I don't know. I like don't really know. But I feel like you have to do. I remember that he had to take like a bunch of tests in the Air Force, and whoever scored the highest on these tests, you have priority in terms of like what planes you get to fly.
thing that I did find passion in was camaraderie and a bunch of people unifying together towards one goal.
I joined because, do you remember that Marine Corps
Chat, why did you guys join the Army?
commercial with the guy on the bridge slaying the dragon that's made out of fire from like back in the 90s? Yeah,
Little
you guys are
before
too
my
young
time.
for that.
Slaying
So that-
a dragon. I don't remember this. It sounds like a good commercial.
The Marine Corps has the best propaganda out of every branch, dude.
Yeah, Washington recruiters.
Wait, it is true. I'm not gonna lie. I was never even remotely interested in joining the Army, but the Marine videos are sick because they're like, serve, like be proud, serve the U.S. Marine Corps, and it shows like it's always a guy in uniform. He looks sick as fuck. He has like a rapier, the like French fencing sword or whatever. Or I don't know if that's what he has. It looks like that. It's like a really thin sword.
And I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Dude, look at that. That's fucking cool. If you're in high school and you're like a dude and you have toxic masculinity, that's what you want to be.
Wow. Two things, like I joined the reserves first, right? So I was a reservist. Yeah, so I got into, I reclassified and did intel.
So I joined in 2016. I think it was a combination of like patriotism and just also the benefits were very attractive to me, like a route to pay for school. I come from a military family. My sister was in the Air Force, but yeah, that was kind of my reasoning.
If I went to
He seems high, but like his eyes aren't shifty, so it feels like he's telling the truth.
college right after high school, I would
My Navy uncle would whip my ass if I joined the Army. Could you join the Navy though? So my dad was like, you cannot join anything, even remotely related to war. My dad was like a hippie in the 70s. He was super anti-war, which I think is like pretty valid. One of my great uncles lost one of his arms in the war, and he had a Captain Hook arm.
would have just like been a dumbass and dropped out within a semester. Might as well be a badass, become a Marine infantryman, and that's kind of what I did.
I joined in 2017, and I did a semester of college, and then like this recruiter like came up to me and was like, "Hey, like, do you want to join the Army? Like, I feel like you would be a good fit."
I feel like, okay, I think times have changed, definitely. If I'm like a girl, I can't speak for girls, but I feel like if I'm a girl, I'm like kind of scared to join the Army because of like the type of people the Army attracts, and like the male to female ratio like doesn't seem like, I would be so uncomfortable. But maybe like I don't know anything about the Army, but like even as like an Asian guy joining the American Army, I'm kind of like, oh, like is this gonna be like racist people who like want to kill, who are like in here with me? Like I would rather join like the Air Force. That seems more like
Maybe she's been lying
diverse.
this whole time. He
Especially
didn't
with
tell
the
you about
benefits.
basic training?
Oh yeah, he told me about it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, yeah,
Okay,
I went to
yeah.
basic training
Okay.
in AIT, and then like came back, and then I was like, okay, cool. I could like go to college.
do you think you know who the mole is? Make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can see more.
I feel like she's sus. I feel like Susan is sus.
It's got to be the beard.
Dude, I swear to God, I've seen people in the army with beards. Is that just not cool?
Get that he has a no shave chip, but still, out of everyone, like, that just kind of makes me suspicious.
So you're telling me that you can have a beard, but you can't have a handlebar mustache? That's absurd. I feel like it's not Dane.
So Yvette was a little suspicious of me, so I was thinking maybe if I vote her out, then I could clear the air for me.
Sorry. Space Force isn't real.
The Space Force is real.
You're gonna regret that. I feel disrespected. And it was pretty much a bunch of Marines, so they had their little powwow, and that's cool and all, but you gotta put respect on the Space Force because without us, good luck.
To be fair, I Googled what the Space Force does, and I still don't know what the Space Force does.
Everyone feels confident that you already caught the mole, you can end the game now. But if the majority has doubt, the game will continue. So please raise your hand if you want to continue the game.
We got him.
Confident group. All right, look at that. If the lights turn...
I feel like the only one left is the girl on the far right, but my assumption is based off of just like random, like, she seems kind of like nervous with her answers. I feel like if you're a sergeant, you're not like that. I feel like if you're a sergeant, you're kind of mean.
Green. You voted the mole out.
Like if a sergeant's yelling at me, but they're kind of like shifty with like their eyes, I'd be kind of like, you're not very tough.
You win. If the lights turn red, you didn't vote the mole out, and you lose.
We did.
Okay.
We'll be pissed.
Ready? 3.
I think it's gonna turn red. I actually think it's the girl on the right. I think she swindled everyone. What else wrong? I guess they weren't in here.
3.
Wait, it is this guy. It's the 5th guy.
So I'm a military dependent. My dad
Wait, to be fair, this guy was super sus.
served 20 years in the U.S. Navy. He retired in 2008. I was born and raised all on military bases, whether that's from like Hawaii, California, Japan, just back and forth military.
Wait, how does this work? If you're a kid and you're born, like you're a military kid and you live on, do you live on a military base? Or like, that feels like that doesn't make sense.
Bases. Kamizama is a real base in Japan.
See, Tori, I thought the same thing. When you get more money, voting more people out, I think it's like people are scared though because they might get voted out and then they don't get any money.
Yeah.
I'm independent. All my homies are in the Army. All my homies are in the Navy, Air Force, all the branches.
There isn't one type of person who goes into the Marine Corps or the Army.
If you are a veteran, if you're about to get out, or if you plan on getting out, my recommendation is just to nurture those parts of you that are not in the military.
I think that everybody in the audience should do a little more research on the Space Force, acknowledge and respect that we are an actual.
I feel like this guy could have hella proven that he's in the Space Force, but I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt that if you're part of Space Force, you just like can't talk a lot about the Space Force.
Branch, and then without us, there's a lot of your day-to-day life that you can go without, and put respect.
What reasons does it take to open a
Like what? Like that's so broad. I could say that about anything.